All right, this recipe is called chicken tarragon, and it's a really easy way to make chicken breast really quickly on the stovetop. So what we're going to do is just sort of clean up 4 chicken breasts, however many you need for the family. We're going to be cooking them in a pot where they can sort of stay close together. But before I start cooking them, I like to take off some of the extra bits here that nobody's going to be eating. So we'll just trim off some of the extra sort of fat and the gristly bits on the corners that aren't too tasty. Let's give ourselves a little more olive oil so I have something to cook in. They're going to be cooking and sauteing, almost poaching in some white wine and chicken stock in a minute. But to get them started, since these are pretty thick chicken breasts, I'm going to get them going. Little pan frying. Okay. Probably should be a little bit hotter. You don't want a huge pan. I mean, you don't want these to be so crowded that they won't cook. On the other hand, you don't want them floating apart so far that you'll have to put in tons of wine and chicken stock to cover them. Okay, we're going to let that sit and cook them about 2 or 3 minutes aside. They don't have to cook fully because we're going to keep cooking them later. So we'll just leave those on the stove top for 2 minutes. We'll flip them, do a couple more minutes. All right, so we're going to give these guys a flip over. Great. Make sure the olive oil stays on the bottom. We don't want them to stick really badly, but again, they don't need to float. Okay. Another couple minutes. Those are great. All right, while these chicken breasts are in here cooking, let's give them initial seasoning. A little bit of salt and pepper. You do them on both sides, one side, either way. It's good. And some nice ground pepper. Just as it gives them flavor, it starts to sink in. Wonderful. Okay, we're going to take 2 or 3 garlic cloves, however many you like. And we're just going to chop them up and cook them with the chicken. Could be a rough chop, nothing fancy. There we go. A little more. All set. Okay. Garlic. Going in. Fabulous. Okay, let's turn these guys over. We'll do a quick seasoning of the other side. So a little more salt. Again, this is a personal preference how much salt and pepper you put in there, and if you need to put in less salt, go ahead. Okay. We'll do about a cup of chicken broth and about a half a cup of white wine. This is me kind of like the poaching liquid. It's going to keep the chicken breasts nice and moist. And then it's going to make a great sauce for us when we're done. So let's add the liquid to the pan. Okay. So normally you could have this liquid cover the chicken, but then you'd have a lot of liquid to boil down. So if you have a lid for this pot, that'll work just as well. It'll do the steaming. And I'm just going to scrunch about a teaspoon, maybe 2 of dried tarragon right in there with all the liquid. Give it a little bit of a stir. So there's plenty of liquid on the chicken. Maybe we'll come back in about 4 minutes and turn it. In the meantime, we're going to cover it and let it cook for about 4 to 5 minutes. We'll come back and we'll look at it again. Okay, while the chicken's cooking, we're going to take some fresh tarragon, and this will be for the end. But an easy way to sort of chop it up into bite-sized pieces, just take the tarragon leaves and put them in a little bowl. And it's easier if the tarragon is washed and dried, otherwise it sticks to everything. That's great. Okay, so you've got your tarragon in the bowl, and instead of chopping it on the board where it just flies all over the place, just take your scissors and cut it up in the bowl. You're all done. So that's for the ends. We're going to put that in at the very end of the cooking process. The other thing we're going to add is some creme fraiche. This will go in at the end too. And the creme fraiche you can use And they sell it at our Trader Joe's and some of the other grocery stores. Or you could use sour cream, or you could use whipping cream. You're only going to use about a half a cup to 3/4 of a cup. So any kind of cream is just fine. Okay. Oh yeah. You can see this is boiling quite nicely. So I think I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. I mean, you want it to cook, but not too quickly. So let's flip the chicken over, make sure it's all cooking well and evenly. Oh, you can smell the white wine. It's really great. And all the alcohol is going to cook off, so it's totally safe for your kids. They won't even know it's in there. Okay, about another 4 minutes, and then that'll be ready. All right, the chicken should be done. So let's take it out and put it on a plate so it'll rest and keep cooking. But it's pretty firm, and juices are running clear. So we'll take the chicken out all onto the plate. Okay, guys. Okay, you can already smell garlic and the white wine and all that tarragon. If you have a lid, you can cover it. We'll just pop it on there. And when it's down to about a half, then we'll turn the heat down. All right, this is getting pretty close, so we're going to take it down a little bit. Turn down the heat. Okay. It could still be bubbling, and the nice thing about creme fraiche is it doesn't usually burn. And sour cream too, it's a good dairy product to cook with. So I'm going to add about a half a cup. Again, it's very much up to you how much you want to put in. But this will thicken it. Gives it a nice tart flavor. I'm going to add our fresh tarragon to just sort of jump up the tarragon flavor and mix it in. I'm going to now take this sauce after mushing in all the creme fraiche and cook that again and reduce it again, maybe by another half or a quarter. Basically so it'll thicken and be a really nice sauce on the chicken. Let's look at this sauce. It's definitely going down and it's reducing. It's great. So I think we're good here. We're going to turn off the stove. And we're going to put the chicken back in so it can reheat and it'll all be, make sure all the chicken juice that's gone off the plate can go back in the sauce. Oops, hello there. Okay. All that good sauce. Whew. Delicious. With this chicken, you could serve it whole like this, or you could slice it in sort of medium thick chunks so that the sauce gets in everywhere. Any way you do it is fine. Make sure you don't lose any of the sauce. It's really, really great. One little tasty piece. Okay. You could serve the sauce on the side in a sauce bowl or just pour it right over the top. Okay. There we go. Oh, delicious. Okay, so there you go. Chicken tarragon with a yummy cream sauce. Ready to go.